Bună ziua, prieteni! Bine v-am găsit pe canalul meu. Discutăm astăzi despre un caz special, ceva ce nu ați mai întâlnit. Prima dată când am discutat cu persoana cu care voi discuta în continuare, mi-a spus în felul următor: despre viața mea se poate filma un documentar pe Netflix. Ca să înțelegeți voi de ce spun asta, vreau să vă o prezint și o să vorbesc în continuare în limba engleză. Hi, thank you very much for having me here in Romania and Bucharest.
Thank you for coming.
I don't know how to address to you. I don't know your name. Do you know what is your name?
We are sure that my name is Adriana, but we don't have official confirmation yet.
Let's start this story chronologically.
Perfect.
So you were born in Romania, but you were adopted in Canada. Just tell me your story.
So I was born here in Bucharest at the end of the 90s, of 1990.
Do you know your date?
I do not know my date of birth.
Okay.
And I lived my life here with my family for a few months, and I was then adopted into Montreal, Canada. I had a relatively normal childhood in Canada. I had my parents, I went to school, all of the normal things.
You knew that you were adopted?
Correct. So that was never a secret or anything in my life. I've always known. I don't remember not knowing that I was adopted. I remember my parents explaining it to me before bed, like a bedtime story type of thing. And it was always something that I was very proud of. There was a lot of pride, and my father is a German man and my mom is a Canadian woman. So there was a lot of, pride about being European in our household. And that was always something that was just never a secret.
You knew that you were born in Romania. You knew your roots from here?
Correct. So from what I knew is that I was born supposedly in Târgoviște in April of 1991. So I celebrated my birthday April 22nd, 1991, my whole life. And a lot of North American families, when they adopt, they decide to change the name of the child to give them a more Americanized name. My family didn't. So they kept my name on my birth certificate. So I was known as Roxana Pamela my whole entire life, born in April of 1991 in Târgoviște to a single woman. That is what I knew.
And at what age and why you decide to find out more about yourself once again?
I was 33 years old, so this was in 2023. And my children are getting older. I have a 14-year-old daughter and an 11-year-old son. And I have a lot of friends. It's never been a secret, right? So all of my friends know that I was adopted, and they thought it was the most fascinating thing in the world.
From Romania?
From Romania. Okay. And they really wanted to know more than I did. And after 20 years of my friend Maria bugging me to look into this, I finally gave in and said, okay, let's do it.
She is Romanian?
Nope, she is just very curious. She's just very curious.
Has a Romanian name?
Yes,
Maria,
she does.
yes.
She does. She does.
And what you did, now you are decided to find your roots.
Correct.
Came in Romania, or what?
No, so I started my research from North America. I used social media, and I reached out to a Facebook group in Târgoviște, and I put in the information that was on my birth certificate. My name is Roxana Pamela. I was born April 22nd, 1991. I am looking for my family. This is the mother that was listed on my paperwork. And I was flooded with some nice responses, some a little bit less nice, but most of them were telling me to reach out to a Facebook group called the Never Forgotten Children of Romania, who is a beautiful organization that go ahead and help adoptees and biological families reconnect. So I reached out to them, and while I was waiting in line, because there's a lot of people who want this service, so while I was waiting in line for my turn to have my photos put out on the website, a gentleman reached out to me on Messenger and said, I think we need to have a conversation because there has been an international mix-up. And so I obviously called this gentleman, and he's explaining to me that his ex-wife is also named Roxana Pamela, and I'm stupid and was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, that's amazing. And he was like, she's also born April 22nd, 1991 in Târgoviște, and her mother's name is also the name that you listed. And I was like, okay, I don't understand. Then he said that when she was 14, she went to the primărie to be able to go and get her bulletin done. And she was told that she could not have a bulletin because she had been adopted into Canada in 1991. And that story stuck with him. So when he saw my post, he needed to tell me. So I obviously am thinking this woman stole my stuff. Like, that's crazy. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Stole your identity.
That's what I thought. I was like, this random lady obviously that's insane. I told the Never Forgotten Children volunteers, and they went ahead and reached out to this gentleman, and because I was like, maybe I didn't understand him. His English was perfect, I just want to say. But I was like, maybe I didn't understand him correctly. So they confirmed that what he told me was really what he told me, and that this was maybe plausible. So we ended up on May 11th or May 9th, we put out, it was my turn, and they put out the ad at the Never Forgotten Children with the information on my birth certificate, thinking if this was true, the people who are looking for me know that that's not my correct information. So I did a DNA test because I was serious about figuring this out, because I'm like, whoa, hold on, this is a lot. So I took a DNA test with MyHeritage, which is a European DNA database, and I matched with this woman, and it said that we were cousins. So
sorry, how did you get DNA stuff to find out if you match with that woman? I mean,
so you just take the test. You provide a fragment of saliva, and you send it out. Correct. Yes.
And that woman?
She did the same thing years ago, and then on the platform, the matches show up as matches on the platform.
Right.
So once my DNA was on that platform, it showed me like my DNA background. So like, I'm thinking, oh, this is so stupid. I did it with my husband's credit card because I thought it was dumb. It's going to tell me that I'm 25% Eastern European. It's going to tell me that I'm from the Balkans. It's going to tell me blah, blah, blah. And that is not at all what the results told me. The results told me that I was 98% Romani, which I was shocked because that doesn't fit what I had been told my whole life. And then the matches came in, and I matched with this woman named Oana. And I started talking to Oana, and we were trying to figure out...
Sorry, Oana, who is Oana?
She is the woman that I matched with, who the site said was my cousin.
Right, okay.
So I had a hard time contacting her, but when I ended up being able to contact her, we started talking, and we were able to figure out that I must belong to one of her uncles.
Okay.
Now the question is which one? And I went through Facebook, and I found this man, and I was like, oh my gosh, this man has to be an uncle or something, because look at his eyebrows. Those are my eyebrows. You can see them from space. It has to be him.
You're look-alike with him?
Very much so. And after discussing it with Oana, and Oana going to the elders in the family, we found out that this man had a daughter who had been missing since the 90s. So it most likely had to be me. So I was able...
Who told you that a daughter missing from him?
The elders in the family. So older aunts and uncles who are now in their 80s and 90s who remember this.
How did you contact with them?
Via
social media? Or?
Yeah, correct. So Facebook Messenger was a big way of contacting them. So at this point, we know that I must belong to this gentleman precisely. He was incarcerated at the time, which made speaking to him and confirming that extremely difficult. But it did come and solidify the other story that I wasn't Roxana Pamela. So in between the DNA test and the time where the Never Forgotten Children posted my photos, a gentleman who is anonymous. We don't know who he is. We think that he may be a government worker and has access to different databases. Wrote the Never Forgotten Children and said, yeah, that's not the girl. You're never going to find this girl's family. She's not the girl on the paperwork. It's guaranteed. So now we know, okay, it's May 9th and I'm not a person anymore. I don't know my birthday. I don't know my name. I don't know who I belong to. I don't know if someone's looking for me. I don't know if they are, under what name they're looking for me. We have no information.
So at that point, you didn't know even your name.
Correct.
And what you did next?
I waited. I just waited. I didn't know where to start legally. I did talk to the Canadian government and I did ask them, okay, so how does this work now? Like if I find out that none of the information that is my birth information, because my Canadian identity is based on my Romanian birth certificate that now is false. So what do we do? So they told me that they had no idea.
You go to Canadian authorities.
Correct.
With that information.
Correct.
But if you wouldn't go there, did they know about that?
Yes.
They know about your status and everything that was mixed.
Correct. They
How?
do know. Because in 2015, the Romanian authorities reached out to the province of Quebec to notify them that there was another person here claiming that they were Roxana Pamela and that I had left with their identity.
God.
To be able to have the adoption canceled so that she could become herself. And the Quebec authorities never told me. And I was not able to come to court here in Romania to fight for my identity, so I lost it by default because the government of Quebec never notified me.
But they didn't notify you, and even your paper were good, or they were cancelled by Canadian authorities?
They are technically what they're calling pending right now. So they told me to hurry up and fix it, even though they forgot to tell me 10 years ago that it was canceled. It's now my responsibility, my time and my dime to fix it.
Now, what's next? What you did? What was
So
your step?
I'm waiting, and on June 20th of 2023, my biological family on my mother's side recognizes my photographs. And I'm
On Facebook?
on the Never Forgotten Children's page. I'm then put in contact with my maternal aunt, and I find out that my name is Adriana and that I was born at the end of December, between the 17th and the 20th of December 1990, and that my mother's been deceased since 2005, and that I have a brother, and that they have been actively looking for me for 33 years.
Wow. And you decided to come to Romania?
It took me 6 months to come here. When I did come to Romania the first time in January of 2024, 6 months after starting the communications with my family, I came with a media team from Quebec and also a journalist, and they followed the entirety of my process because at that point, all we know is that I'm not the right person. And I want to come to Romania, obviously to meet my family, but also to be able to give back this girl her identity because it's hers, and figure out what I need to do to be able to claim mine.
Mm-hmm. How was your first meet with your family, with your father? I don't know.
It was great.
Some
It was in person. It was quite overwhelming. We did have 6 months of communication beforehand, so it was a lot of anticipation, but it was a really beautiful moment. With my aunt, it was a little bit harder, I think.
How are you? Oh.
You could see the pain. The first day was rough. The first day was rough. You could tell that it was hard for her to see me grown up. She realizing that we'd missed 30 years, without each other. I think there was a big sense of relief for her to know that I was okay. Meeting my brother was great. We get along super well. He's really funny. I really like him. And meeting my father was that was a big moment for me. I was here with my daughter, and for my daughter also. It's the first time that you look like people and that you share not only physical traits but just like mannerisms, and so it was really interesting. It was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, it's very emotional what you are telling us, and the thing is, you find your relatives, I suppose they're look alike you, but they're also different because of cultural differences.
So that's a big. The language barrier was very difficult, but also the cultural differences. It was hard to navigate, but everyone was just so happy. It was so strange. It felt like there was always a seat at the table for me. It was made very clear that, you know, this was an active investigation on their part to find me. They were told I was in Italy. They went to Italy. They were on television here in Romania looking for me. They really tried for a very, very long time to be able to locate me.
What did you found out being here already about your story? What your parents told to your relatives?
My adoptive parents?
No,
my
biological parents. Yeah. I mean, what is your history? What they knew about you, that you disappear like that, or what was your story told to relatives and told to authorities? Because you have some papers here. You're a human being. You belong to Romania.
Oh, so I don't have papers here.
Right.
Which is the big problem.
We'll go to that. But I try to understand what was your history from a point of view of your relatives, what they knew, and what authorities knew about you.
Okay, so from what I was told when we first met through, like in June of 2023, I was fed very, very little pieces of the story very, very, very slowly. I think that they were afraid that if they gave me the full story, I wouldn't have come to Romania. So I think that's why they were doing it this way. I had been told first that I had just gone missing randomly. Nobody knew. Then it turned into maybe you were kidnapped, we don't know. Then it turned into the truth, which was that my parents decided to give me away. So the original Roxana's mother was going to sell her to an attorney who was then going to give that baby to my adoptive parents who were coming. And she changed her mind while they were already in the plane on their way here. So that gave them an 8-hour spot to find a baby. And then I ended up being that baby.
Your parents get some money from that business?
According to what we were told, yes, there was an exchange. There was a financial exchange for the baby, and then that attorney obviously turned around and then charged a price to the Canadian family to be able to have the exchange done that way also.
Do you know figures?
I was told $1,000 was exchanged for the first purchase, and then $4,500 is what my adoptive family paid for me.
So your family back then sold you with $1,000?
US dollars, yes, that's what we were told.
And your father, or your relatives, what they told you, what they're thinking about that?
I think that there was a lot of shame for a very long time. I had been living with my aunt and uncle as a baby because my mother was extremely ill and couldn't care for me. And at one point in time, in July of 1991, they would have went to my aunt's house to retrieve me, stating that they wanted to have a relationship with me and I was their daughter and they wanted to raise me. And she said, okay, and let them go with me. And that I was exchanged that specific, like within the hour of that moment.
And now, what about authorities? What they knew about you? Because you were a child with...
Correct.
You were born in Romania, so they know that it is a human being here. How it could disappear?
According to what we know now, I was born here in Bucharest at a hospital, and the hospital, there was a declaration of birth, and the registration was never completed. No one went to the primaria to issue a birth certificate, which means there was no CNP, which means there was no record, and there still is no record.
So if it is not a CNP, you're not existing anymore? You're not existing on papers?
Correct. I never existed, period, on paper here. The registration was never completed. So the declaration of birth, which means I was born in a hospital, the hospital had to declare my birth, was sent supposedly to the primaria, but then no one went to the primaria to be able to complete the registration process, which means there's just no trace.
Please tell me your status now. I mean, you are in big trouble here in Romania, stuck in Romania, in the eastern part of Europe. Why?
I am stuck here because, well, first off, my Canadian paperwork has now come to the point where I cannot use it to travel. So that's one thing. And also, I'm trying, it's very difficult. I am currently trying to fight to establish my personhood here in Romania, and I need to be physically present here to be able to do that.
You are trying to tell Romanian authorities that you exist.
Correct.
And what they are telling you?
That I don't. That I don't exist, and that being that there's supposedly no trace of anything. I navigated and tried to get this done for 2 years in North America, and at some point my husband and I realized that I was going to have to come here. In North America, if you want to see a judge and you don't have an attorney, you can represent yourself. Here you can't do that. So finding attorneys that were willing to even touch my case was an extremely grueling situation. And then from that point on, I found attorneys, and then we started the administrative dance again for the third time for me, for them the first time. And so we had to prove that I didn't exist anywhere to be able to ask the judge to give me a registration. It's been extremely difficult because I was born in Sector 1, but in a hospital in Sector 1, but that specific hospital from 89 to 94, stuff was sent to the primaria in Sector 5. Sector 5 has been extremely uncooperative, is how I'm going to put it. I started the process for a tardy registration that was stopped by the administration because now they did find the declaration of the birth, but they won't release it to me because I'm not a person. So my brother applied for it, and they rejected it for private life information, even though he proved lineage. I filed police reports where I was laughed out of the Sector 1 police station numerous times.
Why they're laughing at you?
Well, they laughed me out because I can't file, so my brother had to come and file.
Okay.
So I brought the file for him, and they were like, well, you don't have power of attorney, you're not a lawyer, you can't just drop these papers off. They told us the day before to come and drop them off, but then I get there and they tell me no. I have written numerous organizations here that are here to help people that are victim of human trafficking, and I'm not Romanian enough to be entitled to any resources, and I'm also not Canadian enough to have the resources in Canada. So I'm just like really on my own navigating this in a language in which, I mean, I can read and write, but this is serious stuff. I wouldn't even be comfortable navigating this in English or in French. So this is exhausting. I've hit a point now where I have officially ran out of possibilities. The refusal from Sector 5 last week was really the nail. Like, what do we do now if they're not gonna tell us anything?
For how long you are doing this? I mean, you are in Romania trying to fix your life, your identity. For how long?
So in Romania, I've been here for 13 months. And I've been fighting this from America for 2 years prior. So it's been over 3 years now.
And you said that you are a human trafficking victim. That's right, yeah.
Correct.
But it occurred to me that you are the last baby that was adopted by a foreign citizen from Romania. Is that correct?
No, so through private adoption.
For private adoption.
Correct. So at that point in time, having an intermediate, so a lawyer such as the gentleman who facilitated my exit, was completely legal and considered gray zoned. And after August 1st of 1991, all of the children to be deemed orphaned had to go through the casas. But I am the last batch. I left the last day. I left on the 31st of July.
And it was illegal. It was everything illegal. Romanian authorities did not care enough to see if your paper are good.
Correct. I was sent under valid paperwork. It just was not my paperwork. I have the doctor reports from Bucharest authorizing my exit, and there's no information on them. There's no validation of my age. The only thing it says is that I don't have AIDS.
Tell me about your life here in Romania, being stuck here, and tell me about what your life in Canada is. I mean, you have a family, you have children. How it is to be stuck here with children far from you?
I mean, I'm lucky enough to be here with my oldest daughters. Thank God for her, because this would be extremely difficult and different if I didn't have her here.
How old is
she? Is 14.
14. Okay.
14. So, I mean, she's having the time of her life. She's taken the metro, she's made friends, she's laughing, she's, outside living her best
here.
life. Yes.
But what about school?
So she goes to school online in North America, but online. So this hasn't touched her studies in any way, shape, or form. She's actually performing better with no distractions, like at home than she is within the classrooms. My son is still in Canada.
How old
so
is
he is 11. But before that, I hadn't seen him for 9 months, and I know for a fact, he doesn't know yet, but I know that I won't be able to see him because his passport is expired, and we can't apply for a renewal because the information on his birth certificate is not valid. It's illegal.
And for your daughter is the same.
Her passport, correct, but her passport is still valid until 2028. So we are hoping severely that this is solved, obviously before she's also stranded here.
So this situation ruined your life in Canada?
It ruined my life everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah.
My career, I can't work.
What's your specialty? What you?
I work in documentation and IT. So I'm unable to work because I just
You're not. You
I'm not
have
doing
no
that.
paper.
You're not a person, so
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to work. So I'm not working. So that's ruined my career. It's taken time away from my son, from my husband, from my house, from my responsibilities as a human person. It's been extremely demoralizing, dehumanizing, I think is really the only term, to be told by every single administration that you are not a person gets to you. And the refusals, it's just that's all I've been getting. I've been just collecting refusals, and it's extremely exhausting.
You mentioned the mayor of Sector 5. Yeah, you mentioned judge. You mentioned police. What other authorities rejected you?
So I did get the support from the People's Advocate. So that was fantastic, but they were getting refusals. So the hospital where I was born refused to help. It took the support of the Avocat Populaire to be able to get information. That's when we were told that there's a national law that passed in 2014 where they just set fires to all of the archives everywhere. So that's gone. INDCPA, who is the child welfare, except for notifying me when I was here in 2024 that they had told my government they can't do anything for me because the adoption is canceled, so I'm not entitled to anything. The tribunal in Târgoviște gave us a lot of resistance, even with the court order, to be able to have eyes on the adoption file and also the cancellation file. It took my adoptive parents to have to petition the court proving that it was their paperwork to be able to have the right to photocopy it. It's been so every single piece of authority that you can think of, I have emailed, and my lawyers have emailed, and we have had nothing but zero cooperation. This is very sad. This is very, very sad. A lot of people ask me if I have a mental help, because it's really traumatizing to not be a person, but that's it.
Your parents, your adoptive parents, knew about you were a victim of human trafficking?
No. So the fees that they gave the gentleman who they thought was their lawyer, they were told it was administrative fees. Also, like I said, I'm the last baby to leave through private adoption. So there was a system that was very, very well organized. And there's also like the language barrier, even if they did ask questions, I'm sure they would have been lied to. So they had no idea that I wasn't the baby on the paperwork. Did they know that a lot of stuff was a little weird, like the Coca-Cola that was given to the passport guy was a little weird. The packs of cigarettes to the doctor were a little weird. Like for them as foreigners, they were like, oh, this is a little strange. But they were told that this is how it was here, this is how it was in Romania. You had to bribe. And it was just, I remember like them telling me this as a child, and they told me that it was just like a tip from a restaurant, that's what they thought it was. So they never one time had any idea about this.
But now that was a big corruption.
Correct.
So you're a victim of a corrupt system in Romania. How do you feel about that? I mean, I'm sure you thought a lot about your situation.
Yeah, there is a profound sadness that comes with this. Knowing that Romania is not where it was 35 years ago, that there's been extreme changes and progression to a certain extent within the administration, and that they're calling this an administrative mishap, and that there is nothing that is being done to correct said small mishap. It's very disheartening. It makes me extremely angry, but I'm also very limited on what I can do. I don't know how to navigate the system. This isn't my home. This isn't like what I know, the wait times, all of this is foreign to me. I feel extremely abandoned by right now the only place that I can prove that I'm from, and I'm getting absolutely no support from my administration, especially when they call it an administrative mishap. It is extremely insulting.
This administration in Romania or your administration
the administration here?
Just now being in that situation, do you know who could help you? I mean, what authorities in Romania could give you a solution? A judge could say to you, you are a person, look, this is my decision, now go and take your
Correct.
papers.
So this is our next step. We have been trying to get into a tribunal for months now, but they keep sending us through new parts of the administrative system that don't make any sense I'm trying. We're trying to get to the judge. What the judge is going to do is that the judge is going to join the supposed declaration of birth 35 years ago of my mother, the DNA test that we did at the Bucharest Medical Legal Center, my brother and I, proving that we're related through our mothers. An age test. I have to go pass an age test proving, I don't know how that's going to work, but I have to go prove my age now somehow. And my brother's birth certificate that lists our mother as his mother. Those 4 pieces will be presented to a judge, and then the judge will merge those 2 identities together. But the way that this is going, without that piece of paper that Sector 5 is holding captive right now, we don't have enough to even get in line to see a judge. So, I mean, I could be in court in December, like I could be in court in December of 2028. It's just, we don't know.
If you could speak with a politician from Romania, president of Romania, the prime minister, I don't know, you name it, what you would say?
I would ask for some leniency and some and their cooperation into, I know that they have to be able to overpass diplomatic status, has to be able to overpass this and make me a person, because now this is not just affecting me, but it's affecting my children. My children are losing their rights in their own country in Canada because they aren't able to prove, they don't have papers to prove that their existence, because I'm not, I mean, this woman here in Bucharest whose identity I accidentally took for 35 years, 33 years, is the mother of my children. She's my husband's wife. She's the recipient of my university degrees. She owns my house, owns my cars. This isn't right. If I could talk to somebody, I would ask them to use their power and to go ahead and grant me what has been mine this whole time, which is my Romanian citizenship, which is something that I have been extremely proud about my whole life. So to come here, to come home, to finally come home, to be here to fight it, being told, just come to Romania, we'll fix it. And they're actively doing everything else but fixing it. If I could have the support of anybody in power, I would ask them to grant me what is mine, my citizenship. I would ask them to also make it possible for me to register my children. It's their birthright, so that they can be Romanian citizens, you know?
Do you think if you will not come back to Romania to find out your root and everything, do you think you will not be in such a situation right now, and everything, this nightmare, it's a nightmare for you, will just disappear?
I don't think so. From what we've gathered with the Canadian administration, this had been declared when the adoption was canceled in 2015.
But they didn't announce you, so this is why
I just got lucky because I applied for my passport 2 days before the judgment in Romania, and my passport was valid 10 years. I think it was just like a fluke and complete luck.
So they could send you to Romania to figure out and find your identity here.
Which would have been ironic, right? Being deported to a country that still doesn't claim me either. So, I mean...
You know, it reminds me about Franz Kafka process, you know, this book. It's the same. It's insane. I cannot understand how it works. What could be for you a solution? Could you describe for people who are watching us your day? What are you doing in Romania now, trying to figure out who are you and get back your identity?
So there's a lot of waiting. This has tested my patience on levels. We don't know each other, but I'm not a very patient woman. So this has definitely tested my patience. So there's a lot of waiting. I'm learning the language. I mean, what else am I going to do, right? So I'm learning the language.
Tell me something.
I'm not going to do. But that's what I'm doing. I'm studying. So there's that. I watch a lot of television. I've watched so much television. Honestly, I don't think there's anything that I haven't yet finished already. It's just like, it's a lot of waiting. In Canada, we say hurry up and wait. So that's what it is. It's communicating with the attorneys who are, filling this out, sending this out.
You have an attorney in Canada and here. Do you have?
I don't have representation in Canada yet,
here?
But yes, I do here. Yes.
And what they are telling you? They're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel?
I mean, they want to. Every time they're positive, and I keep telling them I am the most unluckiest person in the history of the world, you'll see something is going to happen. And every time they're like, oh, wow, okay, so this is new. We've never seen this before. We've been practicing for X amount of years, never seen this. So they're doing everything that they can. I'm very lucky. I know that it's hard to shop for an attorney here, and I really am blessed by the team that I have. But they're extremely limited on what they can do because they also have to follow, the administrative course, which is...
It could be different, the administration, law administration in Canada that is here. I don't know if you have the experience to work with some judge in Canada that what's happening here. I mean, the justice in Romania is what you thought it could be?
Oh yeah, it's definitely exactly what I was told it was going to be. I was told, get ready. It's known to be very difficult here. The administrative process is extremely slow. I never thought it was going to be this slow. For me, in Canada, if you put in a request to see a judge, if you're not seen in 30 days, it's freaking outrageous. This is, whoa. Here, waiting 8 months to even get a date for a future hearing is normal. So that, heck of an adjustment for me personally. I didn't think it was going to be this bad. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't think it was going to be. I thought I would be here for a year tops. I felt a year, even then, that was a lot of time. This should be fairly easy.
And once again, for how long you are here stuck in Romania?
It's been 13 months
13
now.
months.
13 months now.
And now we are filming this in your kitchen in Romania, in Bucharest. You
Correct.
are stuck here. If you want to add something, because I have my last question.
If I want to add something.
Maybe I didn't ask and you want to tell about your story, because it is unbelievable.
It's a lot of information, so like it's hard for me to like try and, you know, like timeline it because there's so much. I do want to say that I have been extremely well received by the Romanian population. People who, you know, this story has hit the media a couple times throughout my stay here, and I have had a lot of positive and empathetic people reach out to me. A lot of people on social media, through my TikTok and through my Instagram, you know, have been fantastic in giving me resources and also reaching out to said resources on my behalf, obviously being met with the same type of resistance. But I do appreciate that, and that sense of community means a lot when you're here on your own. And I am so grateful for that opportunity to be able to have that help, because it's really hard when you don't know where to start and where you're going. So that is probably been the best part of this, was being received by my people that way.
My last question will be about your life. I mean, have you been thought about it? What could be your life if you will not be going through this selling, you know, this corruption?
If I would have stayed?
If you stay here. Did you thought about that, and what is your answer?
Honestly, every day. I think every single adopted person thinks about that a lot. The what ifs. I have been grateful enough that in 2024, when I came, my aunt was still with us, and I was able to live that Twilight Zone moment. So I was able to live in the house where I would have lived and eat at the table I would have been eating with the people I would have been sharing food with. And so that was a beautiful moment. I also have numerous siblings on my father's side. A lot of them are girls and boys, obviously, that are my age. And I am able to watch them navigate.
How many of them?
A lot. A lot.
I'm more than 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was busy, and he's a very popular man. And there's 3 of us girls who are exactly the same age, and so. And
you're look-alike. You find some.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Those genes are strong. We all look alike, and so watching my sisters. My sisters live their lives in their element, in the element in which I would have been brought up in. There's a big sense of, I don't like to use the word grateful, because it's kind of messed up in my situation to be grateful, but I am able to recognize the opportunities that I was presented with growing up in North America, and the challenges I can recognize, you know, of the boys and girls, the young women and young men who are growing up here currently right now. I see that I had a very different education, and I was exposed to a lot more educational opportunities than a lot of my siblings. And I have a very different quality of life. I don't want to say better because I don't think that's fair, but definitely extremely, extremely different. I've been grateful enough to be able to travel the world, and you know, a lot of my siblings have never left the county. And you know, even our children, all of us are in our 30s and we have kids, and watching, you know, the opportunities that my children have vis-a-vis the opportunities that their children have, it's really humbling. There's still a big part of me that if I would have had the choice in life, if you would ask me, would you have wanted to leave or would you have wanted to stay? Knowing what I know now, my place was where I was supposed to be. And messing with that brought me to this position in my life now where I'm not a person, I don't exist, I don't know when I was born, I can't prove anything to anyone at any point in time. You know, that is something that I think a lot of adoptees struggle with, the inner thought of having to be grateful for being saved from a life, and then also knowing that you started off your life abandoned by the people who were never supposed to abandon you. And I don't know, I'm going to speak for myself and not other adoptees, but I had been told that I was taken away from extreme poverty and saved from prostitution and drugs and all this stuff. So when I came here in 2024, and I was very disappointed because there was like, where's the misery? Like, I was promised, where are the prostitutes? Where's the drugs? Where's the misery? My family lives very comfortably. There is no extreme poverty, you know? So it was a very challenging feeling to have to adapt to that. Do I think about it? I think about it every day. And now I have the blessing in disguise to be able to live it now every day. And I can give that opportunity to my daughter, which is probably the best part about all of this.
Thank you very much
of
for
course, it was
your
my pleasure.
time. I think that your opportunity turned to be a curse for now, for this moment, but I'm sure that it will be some sunny days soon in your life, and hope
I hope so also. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Prieteni, aceasta a fost povestea pe care ați aflat-o. Este adevărat, e o poveste într-adevăr de film, de carte, o poveste care nu se încheie aici. Desigur, o voi urmări să vedem ce se va întâmpla în continuare și desigur, viețile noastre uneori ne produc surprize de care nu ne-am fi așteptat niciodată. Aceasta este povestea, ca de obicei, părerile vă aparțin. Vă mulțumesc că mă urmăriți.